Okay, folks, Malcolm X said it best in the 60s. He said, you've been had, and today's economic game plan, you are blind. And I'm here to set you free and show you what you don't know and put you on a path to financial freedom by understanding the advantages and the disadvantages of all the different financial products that are out there today and how to create a financial freedom map that helps put money back into your pocket where it belongs. You know, when I'm in the forest, I can't see the forest for the trees, right? And when we look at our society, which we are being bombarded every day, all kinds of advertisement, all kinds of things you should buy, all the corporations, the governments, the institutions, they want your money on a regular and ongoing basis. They want to hold it for as long as they can. Corporations are going to sell you products that through planned obsolescence are meant to break down. That's why there's an iPhone 15, 14, whatever. I mean, there was iPhone 1 all the way up to where it is now because they're meant to break down. Cars, every 3, 4, 5 years, they're meant to break down. You're trying to tell me that with our technology, they can't build a car that can last 10, 20, 30 years? Of course they can, but they're not making recurring revenue. So that's the world we live in. Why society's economic game plan is completely broken. And this is my opinion. At the end of the day, if you look and see what's happening, when you go to a job and you get they give you the job, there's a opt-in for a 401k or an opt-out, I should say. So here's the game plan. Save 15% of your income. I'm always going to say save 20. Put into a 401k or a Roth IRA. Cancel all subscriptions, carpool, meal prep. Use catch-up contributions on those qualified plans after age 50, retire, and live off your compound interest. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not even sure percentage-wise how often that happens. I'd say less than 5%. Because if you're going to put money into a 401k your whole life, and if you stick to the game plan, there is a good chance when you retire, there'll be a nice lump sum number. But that number, if it's inside a 401k, SEP IRA, simple IRA, traditional IRA, if it's inside of a pension plan, profit sharing, defined benefit, 401k plan, all these different plans which are qualified to knock your head off in taxes, each one of those dollars in those plans are going to come out as taxed at ordinary income. Now, you're going to say, yeah, but Rob, what about the Roth? No, you're right. The Roth grows with after-tax dollars. You have to fund it with after-tax dollars. You do have a Roth IRA, you have a Roth 401k, but how come they only let you put in only $18,000, maybe $21,000 on the catch-up on the Roth? How come on a traditional Roth IRA you can only put $6,000 away? And by the way, if you make too much money, you don't qualify. Why? Because the government can't put their confiscatory hand into your pocket. So it's important you understand the game within the game. Now, if somebody's going to say, I'm not going to save any money, or I'm going to put into a 401k, well, that's better than not saving any money, right? So it's important that you really understand the game within the game. And I know money is hard. I know money has a charge. I know investments are boring. I know investments are complicated. And I know everybody's calling you with the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I know your accountant is not on the same page with your insurance agent, who's not on the same page with your fiduciary, who's not on the same page with your trust officer. Imagine if they could be, oh, by the way, stick to the end because they can. At the end of the day, if you're exposed to all of that chaos and confusion, well, guess what? You're going to be running east looking for a sunset, and it sets on the east if you're on the moon, but not if you're right here in the United States. So here's a quick graph. I want you to check this out. Assuming you max your Roth every year at $6,000 for 40 years at 7% interest. $6,000 for 40 years at 7% interest. At age 65, you'll have $1.29 million. Now, the next question is, okay, what's that income going to produce for me in my retirement years from 65 to 85? Well, once again, assuming 7%, that's a big risk because that's saying that you never took any money out and you also continued to fund it no matter what. You didn't miss 1 year. But if you did that, you got that 1.29 milli, you start taking the distributions, which is 64,000. But remember, if you're going to compound interest, you got to compound taxes because that's the other half of the story. And if you look at after-tax inflation, that 64 will feel like 32,000 in today's dollars. Think about that. 64,000 in the future will feel like 32,000 in today's dollars. That's the impact on inflation. That's the impact on lost opportunity cost. And by the way, in that description, I didn't even talk about the fees that are associated with it. So Americans typically, they can't afford retirement. Not only do the ideal numbers not work out, but Vanguard recently reported that the average 401k of a 65-plus-year-old has a balance of about $209,000 in their qualified poison plan. Over 20 years, that would be about $10,000 in income. Yes, I know it doesn't include Social Security. I get it. But I think what people really don't get, and people get mad at me all the time when I tell them the truth, that when you start taking money out of these qualified plans, you will get taxed on it. They thought they were going to be tax-free or in the lowest tax bracket. And guess what? If you're in the lowest tax bracket, do not celebrate unless you did some proper planning with some trust and some high-level tax strategist, not a typical accountant, tax strategist. Because at the end of the day, if you're in that lowest tax bracket and all your money's in one product, you're going to have a tough 20 years. At the end of the day, here are some of the flaws in the plan. Remember, during that wealth accumulation phase, you could be, if you're not creating alternative strategies, not to replace, but to complement what you do and waste the best years of your life. You have very little time freedom. I'll go on the East Coast right now, and I'll tell you the people that live in my neck of the woods, they traveled, and this is before COVID, but it's getting back to that now. They would travel an hour and a half each way to work, there and back, Monday through Friday, so their family can afford the lifestyle of the inflation and what it costs to live in New Jersey. I mean, that if you think about it, you could lose 8 to 10 years of your life just traveling when you get into your 50s and 60s. No time with the family while the kids are young, not enough time, not enough to retire. And by the way, little time freedom, which means that you could become replaceable in whatever your job is. And that's why it's always important, even if you have a 9 to 5, and even if you're getting good bonuses, and even if everything is great right now, you better get a side hustle at all times. You better invest in that real estate between your ears, because one day, when they come knocking on the door and they say, listen, here's your severance package, you don't know what else to do. And now all of a sudden you got all this time on your hands. And, you know, an idle time is the devil's playground, and some decisions that come out during that phase create a lot of chaos and confusion in the family environment, especially when that money gets tight. One of the things that we love to do is really complement qualified plans with an overall funded whole life cash value life insurance plan. It's a better way to not only maximize both product strategies, because at the end of the day, if you can understand the advantages of some products while you're at the same time understanding the disadvantages, you tie it into your core values, you tie it into your money mindset, and now all of a sudden, if you have tax-free investments that can manage the tax code later on in life, yes, manage the tax code later on in life, because we don't know what taxes are going to be, you've put yourself in a position to prosper. And remember, when you leverage anything, and if you do it prudently, and if you understand alternative investments, leverage, liquidity, and control gives you not only tax strategy benefits, but also allows you to make multiple uses off of each and every dollar. And now, not only if you're diversifying just a product, that's one thing, but if you diversify your overall product mix, and if you diversify your mindset and understand that you could compound energy, you could compound frequency, not just a rate of return in a product, well, guess what? The game just changed, and now you're tapping into all these different forces that are out there that could put you to the next level when it comes to exactly what you're looking to do and achieve. And by the way, when the doors start opening up, it feels real weird. So hold on real tight. And at the end of the day, allow your subconscious and allow your conscious to continue to accelerate through this privileged window by making these right decisions. Anyway, if you want to invest with the best, if you want to sit down with some of the folks here at Epic that could take you through not only the success process, they could show you a financial freedom map, answer any questions with no obligation, go ahead and click that link below. We'd love to sit down with you and really have a discussion about what your world could look like if, in fact, you made some good decisions going forward. Thanks for checking us out.